Let's get going. Okay, let me get my notepad. So sorry, Pan, you're gonna have to hear this whole spiel. So with the shoulder mobility today, what we're going to do is go through the shoulder mobility self-check. So like with the lower back, the aim is to do it at the beginning of any overhead session to see that you're in the best position to start lifting. So making sure that we've got good range of movement so that we're going to be as effective as possible when we're trying to get our powerful, good lifts. With these, so again, we've got 4 kind of checks. The aim is if you're doing well, it's equal both sides, you can just move on. If things are tight or not the same, don't feel right, that's where the rest of this session is how you can address it, so kind of the solutions. Now, if something's persistently staying tight, so one side more than the other, then that's what you leave in your check-in notes. Looking at pain as well, and if things change. So especially with shoulders, we generally have a bit of an asymmetry because we've got sometimes a very dominant side. So for myself, like I'm very right-handed, so that can sometimes show my mobility. However, when we're doing like overhead pressing, we want to make sure we're 50-50 because what we don't want is bias on the bar with our dominant side, which can cause problems later on. So as always, with mobility, the biggest thing is not to go into pain. It's all right to feel stiff, it's all right to feel tight. If things start shaking, we've gone too far, and it's just about moving slowly into these stretches. Each day will feel different, so it's a bit like RPE, it's what it feels like in that moment, not like yesterday I was like an acrobat and today I'm like a statue. So first of all, this is where you're going to use a stick. So I'll give you lots of options. First one, using a stick or holding a towel, holding a band tight. So we're going to go overhead and we're looking at thoracic rotation. So I'm going to stay fixed on my legs. You can sit down with your legs in front of you and you're just going to rotate as far as you can round. So I'd say do a couple. And what we're looking for is how symmetrical. So is it one side we're going this far and the other side the stick is almost going, say like a 90-degree turn. So again, comparing left to right. So if you're doing things like split jerks, that's where any rotation through here, if it's differing, that's what can cause us to affect our lifts. Okay, so let's have a look both ways. Okay, and what we're doing is making sure our hips are fixed so that we're not moving. So if I was here, I might start to twist and my hips start moving. So you want to think like headlights. If we stay here, my headlights of my hips always facing the camera. The next one is a lat stretch. So this is quite a common one that's quite tight. So I'm on a wall and I'm going to go in a wall sit. Now I want to fix my back to the wall. So that's why we're in a squat position, not just here. I'm going to press my lower back, or my belly button is going to hit the wall. I'm then going to lift my arms up, leading with my thumbs as high as I can without having to lift my back off. So I go really dramatic now. You see that? So if I do that and I start to lift off because I'm trying to hit the wall, so stay fixed, thumbs up, at what point is something going to give, or are you touching the wall? And again, compared to left to right. The next one, a book opener, so might not see that well, I'll kind of do it in the air. You're going to lie on your side with your hips stacked, so one on top of the other. You're going to have your arms out in front like a crocodile, and you're going to lift that top arm and turn over and touch the other side. Now what we're trying to do is make sure our hips don't move. If you've got good mobility, you can bring that top leg down to the floor. I'll change my camera in a minute. So if I go here, top is going to go around this way, and I want to get the whole of my shoulder or my arm onto the floor. If my mobility is not as good, my hand might touch, but I might have a gap under this bit. So if I just change the angle of my camera a little bit, hopefully you can see that. Okay. So hips stacked on top. So this is kind of level one. My hip and my knee are on top, arms out, and I'm going to twist around this way, touch the floor, and I'm watching my hand. The next level is this leg is going to come up and sit on the floor, but now I need more rotation through my thoracic. So I'm going to come up and round. I'm going to do it the other way so you can see what this shoulder is doing. So coming up, and I want to touch the floor and not have a gap under this bar. and then back through. I can make it harder, twist around and through. So again, comparing left and right, how does it feel? How much are you touching the floor? Is it, you can do knees stacked on one side but knees over on the other. So again, how does that feel in that rotation? Last thing is looking at shoulder external rotation. So being in the rack position, front squat, even holding a squat bar, we want our shoulder to be able to move well this way. If you're a javelin thrower, that is one of the most vital. Otherwise, in these sports, generally strength sports, you only need kind of this 90-degree ideally. So ideally for this, stick, mop, broom, PVC pipe, you're going to hold it like a javelin, like I'm going to throw it forward. Then that stick is going to fall behind. I'm going to grab it with my other arm and pull it through. And then if I can, get my elbow outwards. So if I turn this way, so I'm going to go this way. And we're just trying to get that external rotation without moving through my back. Okay, so I go like that. 1, 2, 3. And again, see how it feels left to right. This is quite an important one. So when you're in the rack position, if I've got one arm up here and one here, of course that's going to affect how well you're going to press it. So this one, complete both sides and just see how that feels. Again, you can always film yourself doing it, and that's what you can upload, especially if you want to see a big change. Or again, it's sometimes those little differences that you might not see with a stick. What angle is it at? But on a video, it will make black and white. So what we're going to do about it. So we're going to start, ideally, back with a ball. I'm always rather a ball than a roller. So ball against the wall. We're going to start with our thoracic muscles, so these train track muscles that run either side of our spine. So I'm going to move my camera again. So yeah, ball against the wall, start on one side. It doesn't matter where you'll find the spot that needs it. So I would say, for women, bra strap area, men, guess where it is. So you don't have to do massive squats to get the whole back. You choose a little segment and move up and down. If you don't feel like it's doing anything, move it higher, move it lower. If you're around your shoulder blade area, take that arm out the way by putting it across your body. That means the shoulder blade comes out. So if I do that, and then you've got more space through this region. So I can work through this bit, like so. And again, it's uncomfortable, but if it's painful and I'm doing this, we're defeating the point. So you're in control of how much pressure you put back into the wall. If it's hurting, as I said, you're not actually going to be achieving much. So swap sides. So again, one side it might need it more than the other, and this is what we're trying to find out. If you're rolling on a ball, and that's all it feels like, it doesn't need it in that area. Again, arm across your body. So next, you're going to go more through your lats. So on here, you can see the kind of bare bit from my top. So I'm going to have to put it where my armpit line is at the back, against the wall. And again, there's a bit of a shimmy about of where to go. Me, I'm going to go a bit lower. And then what you can always do is when you're rolling, is actually lift that arm up overhead as well. Again, not for me. So go nice and slowly. This one's not about the range, so it's not like before we were testing it. Just stretching it off, making it a bit more functional. So again, both sides. And how does it feel both sides? So it's one side loosey-goosey and the other one's not. Again, things like in strongman, if you're doing a lot of dumbbell where you're dominating one side, it might need a bit more TLC. Especially when you do go back on a barbell or an axle, that's where we don't want those asymmetries. The next thing is you're going to work at your mid traps, so kind of this big bit up here. So against the wall, lean back, and this is more of a side to side, or Pause and lift. Again, this is normally quite a big culprit when we get to more neck pain. So when our shoulders hurt, for example, we go into a sling position. We use these muscles at the top, so our mid traps. Those go to the back of our head and can cause headaches as well. Just making sure we loosen it off. Now, swap sides, you can, with this one as well, literally just use your hands. So put in your thumb either side, like so, and you'll be able to feel it. You know what's uncomfortable again and what's painful. So you can mix and match. Sometimes it's always a little bit harder with up at your neck. If you're doing upper neck, it's better just to use your hands. Yeah, so ball or using your hands. The next thing we're going to do is our pecs. So with shoulder pain, most of the time people say, my pain is here, somewhere around this joint line. Leave that bit alone. Most of the time, that's the angry bit that we want to not touch. Now our pecs, so if you go a bit like a teapot, you'll feel, put your hand, your thumb, either side, you'll be able to get underneath where your armpit is. That is your pec belly. Your pec belly goes from your collarbone to your sternum, and then like a square across. In men, obviously, you can see it a lot more clearly. That is the muscle belly. That is what we want to address. That's normally our biggest common culprit. So we've evolved from the fetal position where this is really tight. So that's where we want to loosen it off. So leave this bit, as I said, the joint line alone, aim for that bit. So you can use your thumb again, or we can use the ball against the wall. And what I recommend is using a corner of a wall so that you're not nose planting the wall. So I'm going to put the ball on my chest like so, and I'm going to lean across, and my face is going on this corner bit, and you can move side to side, up and down. You find what works best. Okay. Ladies, be careful. Or like I said, you can just use your hand. You can, so I'm going to go on this little crevice here. If I have the ball here, I can, a bit like a snow angel, a bit like we did with lats, move it through. And before a session, this is not about battering yourself. So sometimes it's being aware, but what is it like homework that you need to work on? So main 4 things to roller. And again, like I said, some places will feel absolutely fine and don't need it. The next thing we're going to do is more stretch based now. So starting with your pecs, our pec goes from here, and as I said, down here. So it goes into our tendon at this point, and it coils up. Now it makes it like a fan. So depending where the direction of our arm is to which fibre of our pec we're working. So when we stretch against the edge of a wall, we'll start off at the bottom, slowly, so shoulder back and down, so away from your ear, and turn away. And you're feeling that stretch through here. Turn back, move your hand up, and then going through. So obviously your whole stretch is a bit longer, but you find the range where you need it. So we can go the whole way through. So think of it a bit like a rainbow. Okay, so that's why I always say reset, because you might not get as far when you go higher. So again, shoulder down, don't let it start doing this. And then you might need to come closer to the wall and turn away. So you'll find the range where you need to stretch and then go the other way. So compare both sides. Again, I'm speeding through today. But when you're doing this, pause the video and stretch through. Okay, so stretching through. Stretch so my shoulder stays down. And then up here. Okay, so stretching through our chest. Then, as I said before, that if our shoulder hurts, we tend to do this. So our pecs get involved and our traps. So stretching our neck. So I appreciate you can't see me, but if I'm sitting on a chair, the best thing to do is hold on to the chair. So I'm going to just hold on to my leg today. So I'm going to sit on my hand. You're going to take your head to the side. Use your hand to give it a little bit of pressure. So you'll feel that stretch through here. Now, the reason I'm fixing my arm on something is because if I do this, naturally, this will just come with it. So going slowly. Now our trap, our mid trap, that same fan effect. So we've got fibres that run this way, but we've also got fibres. So if I do that, they go like that on our back of our neck. So we want to bring our head down a little bit. So nose towards our hip, and then nose towards our groin, and then all the way down. So you'll pick what angle you need more. Okay, so some people need it out here, here, here. Okay, both sides. So swap, fix that hand to the side, hand on your head, over, down, down, down. Last one, so link your hand underneath, kind of the base of your skull, and you're thinking about coming up and over. So if we go this way, so this, down, feel that stretch to that back of that neck. Okay, if it all feels loosey-goosey, we don't need to do that part either. So we've done our pecs, our back, and now we're going to go back to that book opener. So a bit like we did at the beginning, but we'll make a little bit of a variation. So as I said, all the kind of tests we could do, let me just do that, we can do as a mobility as well. So what we're going to do this time, so you're going to lie on your side, hips stacked or knee over, whatever you prefer. Now we're going to come out like the book opener again, but we're going to go up and round. So imagine you've got a rainbow over the top of you this time. Up, round, try to get that hand onto the floor, but we're just doing a little bit more range at our shoulder. So imagine you're brushing the floor. I just have a wall in my way. That way, then if you want, so bring that leg, knee to the floor, the top knee to the floor, and that will make it harder. You might feel this in your lower back as well, and that's because it's all one chain. Biggest thing is your hips below shouldn't be moving. Swap sides. So you can see on this side, I'm struggling to get my hand down to the floor or my shoulder down to the floor because my rotation this way is not as good. And again, like I said, with this, I'm speeding through it, but you can pause at the bits that you need. So the next bit, now we have options. You can use a roller, but this is quite extreme. You can use a rolled up towel, so literally roll it as tight as it can go. The foam, the proper foam rollers, literally a roller of foam, that are normally, the ones that insert in the middle, they are probably the best as beginners ones to use. So we're looking at this thoracic extension. Our thoracic, as we've talked about before, has our ribs attached, so it's always a much stiffer part of our back. And that can actually affect, like when we're going overhead, if we're not moving through our thoracic, our lumbar normally hinges a little bit more, especially if our lats aren't very mobile. So again, it all connects together. So what we're going to do, you're going to put this kind of in mid back. I apologise, I'm wearing all black and then using a black roll. What you're aiming is to be able to rest that head, to keep your bum on the floor and rest your head back. Now this is probably a little bit too much for me today. So yeah, I'm going to lift my bum up a little bit, but it's on the floor, should be down here, like so. And this is where it's, as you can hear, just almost relaxed back and we're keeping that arch. You then want to shuffle it up a little bit. Same again. Back up, shuffle up. Aim for like 5 to 10 breaths. And then come up. And what you can also do is when you're lying here, is actually take your arms up and over, down, up and over, and down. But as I said, for me, this is probably too much, and that's where I would have used my roller, my foamy one, but the dog ate it, literally. So you can work a bit lower, but we don't do too much in that lumbar region, where our ribs are. That's kind of what I want to aim for. As I said, you can just use a rolled up towel because that's a little bit more forgiving, and what we're trying to do is just get that movement through that arch of your thoracic. Lat stretch, so we've got 2 options. So it's up to you. Well, actually, we've got about 3 options. So you can use your actual roller this time. So onto all fours. You can start off, there's actually many variations, going like so and dropping your head through your shoulders. You can put your elbows on and drop your heads through your shoulder, and then bending those elbows, you can hold onto a stick, you can just hold on for dear life to yourself. Moving that through. The next level is you can do that and roll it out, roll it in, roll it out. Again, I'm very stiff through this area at the minute. And what you're trying to think about is bringing that chest to the floor and you're promoting this way. If you're in the gym, what you can do is have a band on like a high up bar, loop it through that elbow and coming through almost this way. Again, you can't do that at home. The next option, if you're at home and don't have a roller, is, let me do this again. A very similar principle. So you're going to put your hands on the wall and just drop down. With that focus is that your head is coming through your shoulders. If you have a door handle or a squat rack, you can hold on. And then my opposite, so my right arm is going to my left knee. And I'm going to rotate through like a banana and open out that lat. You can put traction. So if I was holding on to this wall, I can let myself sit back and give a bit of traction through here. Coming up and through, and then swap arms. So again, ideally hold on to something like a door handle, squat rack, left hand, right knee, twist like a banana. My right lat is getting stretched. Deep breath through it. So many ways to do lats. Next is using your stick or a band at this point. It could be a towel, it could be a jumper. So the wider you go, the easier it is. And I'm really sorry about the sunlight. You're going to go up, round, and through. Okay, only as much as mobility allows. So if you can only get here, that is fine. Coming back through, coming up, round, slowly, and we're just getting that shoulder working through its full range. Now the beauty of the shoulder is it's a ball and socket, therefore it's very mobile. The counter to that, because it's so mobile, we need so much more stability. Any kind of changes in the forces being pulled in any direction, that's where we get more probably injuries at the shoulder, is because there's so many things at play. Okay, so going through. The next one is you're going to do a bit more single arm. So I'm going to keep my left arm by my side, come through, like so. So what I'm doing is opening that left shoulder out a minute. Up, round. And again, it's how many you need. And what we're looking for again, how is it left to right? On this side. And my right is my stiffer side. And again, my right's my stiffer side, is my dominant side. So it always needs a little bit more work. Okay. And then last thing, so with the self-check at the end, is to do the ones again that you needed to work on. So have you made a difference? So say, for example, at the end, the stick one, so javelin into a stick, you can do that again. Have I made a difference? You can use this as its stretch. Okay. So that is all of it. So hopefully that's helped. I don't know if anyone has joined or if there are any questions, or it's Panda and me. But at the end of the day, it's just knowing your body. So you're going to be like an Olympic gymnast in no time, within sessions. It's trying to see what's different for you, doing it little sessions at a time and being mindful. We don't want to get too much mobility at the start of a session. It's more to see that symmetry and if there's any big changes, but probably after the sessions where you need to do a bit more work. If we get too much mobility, lots of static stretches at the beginning, that's where we're going to lose some stability because we've got more mobility than we used to. Okay, so it's just that little the balancing act about what to do and when. So most of the time we do dynamic stretches before a session, static stretches at the end of the session. Okay. Any questions?
No, all made sense.
Cool. Well, have a good good luck next week, Panda, and I'll catch you later.
Yeah, I'll catch you then.
Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye.